So whatever fulfillment you are looking for materially, behind it, you are looking for the truth. 1 plus 1 is equal to 2 must lead us to the truth. The two should come together and become one. The first one, 1 orange plus 1 orange is 2 oranges. 1 orange plus 1 mango. What is the answer? A true saint, saintly Christian, becomes expanded and includes the Muslim. So there is simplicity when you expand, and when you contract, there is complexity. You can begin like a Jan Cosmic Foundation student, but to remain as that is part of the false identity. The difficulties people are having, the challenges, it is all equal to how much false identity you carry. My beloved brothers and sisters, we're talking on something that answers many questions for the seeker. Practically, everybody is a seeker. There are those who are seekers without knowing. And then we have those who know, who are intentionally seeking. People moving up and down, it is the truth they are seeking, but they don't know. And yet we have those who are determined, and they are seeking directly. So those who don't know, they are seeking indirectly. Because whatever fulfillment you are looking for materially, behind it, you are looking for the truth. But because you don't get the way to connect the truth, then we seek it in anything. There is simplicity if we can understand something. Otherwise, everything becomes very complex. Today, a very simple thing that the kindergarten, the crèche, we start to teach them. But that is what will lead you to the greatest things. We bypass it, but I will bring you back to it. And that will lead us to the greatest things, to the absolute truth. Yes. I will show it on the board for clarity. Beloved brothers and sisters, the simplest thing the kindergarten will teach them: 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. Beloved brothers and sisters, this can lead you to God. This can lead you to the absolute truth. It will draw a line between deviation from the truth and that which is leading to the truth. Just simple like that. 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. Now let us get to it. Yes, beloved brothers and sisters, there is this wonderful power of awareness to expand or to contract. It is this which is responsible for all that we see, that goes on, that we experience, this world. When consciousness narrows down, contracts, then there comes about things that we call things in existence. When it expands, then it gets back to its original nature. So this expansion contraction, when it expands fully, that is what we call God. When it reduces expansion, then it's like things other than God. Yet there isn't anything other than God. So it is the same God contracting, expanding. Now, when things are narrowed down, then we get what we call false identity. When it is expanded, then it gets to true identity, because that is original. And when it is expanded fully, that is eternally true. When it narrows down, it's temporary true. Because it's like polarity again. Eternally true and temporary true. They are opposing. But the temporary true compared to the eternally true, it's like the temporary true is like nothing. Because it will go away because it's temporary. But the eternally true never goes away. It is always present. Now, the simple mathematics will lead us to the truth. And then you can understand the difference between truth and untruth. Real and unreal. Beloved, this will help us to target the expansion, because we are now living in contracted consciousness. Consciousness contracting has brought about all these manifestations. But when consciousness expands, then there is fulfillment, because when it expands fully, everything is completed. When things are complete, there is fulfillment. There is peace. But that type of peace is expanded peace, fully expanded. If you take it to be love, it is fully expanded love. If you take it to be joy, it is fully expanded joy. And that consciousness in full expansion represents fullness in everything. Now, anything less than that, if we are narrowing things down and down, then we are approaching things which are unreal, things which are temporal actually. Now let us see how 1 plus 1 is equal to 2 will lead us to the truth. Beloved brothers and sisters, 1 plus 1 is equal to 2 must lead us to the truth. So kindergarten, elementary school, crèche, they hold the truth. 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. And sometimes we get into the complexities. We think we know so much, yet we deviate from this simple truth. 1 plus 1 equal to 2 will teach us. The children will teach. Yes. In the scripture somewhere it says, the learned will miss it, but the truth will be given to the unlearned. Why? Because they will understand 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. Yeah, beloved brothers and sisters, let us see how this is the truth. 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. Yes. Now, 1 orange plus 1 orange is equal to 2 oranges. That is easy. But let us see. 1 orange. 1 orange plus 1 mango is equal to what? Tell me. That is impossible mathematics. The first one, 1 orange plus 1 orange is 2 oranges. 1 orange plus 1 mango. What is the answer? Impossible mathematics. So, what it means is this. 1 orange plus 1 mango cannot really be 1. Now, rather, if we can say 1 fruit, the orange is a fruit, the mango is a fruit. So, 1 fruit plus 1 fruit is equal to 2 fruits. But 1 orange plus 1 mango, impossible. So, beloved brothers and sisters, when you say 1 orange plus 1 mango, in actual fact, the consciousness has been reduced, because when it is being reduced, then separation is the result. When you expand consciousness, then the idea of separation is changing because you are expanding. So, one fruit plus one fruit is equal to two fruits. And that one is expanded consciousness. But when you say one orange plus one mango, it is a reduced consciousness. Why? Because whenever you are expanding consciousness, it brings unity. So one fruit plus one fruit, two fruits, they unite. Two fruits, it's possible to unite. But one orange plus one mango, impossible. Because separation has come. Just try to understand it. So when you say one Christian plus one Muslim, it is impossible mathematics. But one human being plus one human being let's put, for the sake of that, two human beings, possible mathematics. So, one Christian, one Muslim is lower consciousness. One human being is higher consciousness because it is expanded. It is expanded. Beloved brothers and sisters, try to understand. You are approaching the expanded being we call God. So the moment you say one human being plus one human being, you are getting closer to what you call God. When you narrow it down and there are differences, you are departing from the expanded presence. When sometimes we say God is omnipresent, so we have to enter into expanded consciousness more and more. So if somebody calls himself Christian and he actually becomes a true Christian, he will have expanded consciousness. A true saintly Christian, becomes expanded and includes the Muslim in his consciousness. A true Muslim who is a saintly Muslim, fully expanded in consciousness, will include Christian. So he sees himself as a human being and he sees the Muslim as a human being. So it is possible to have two human beings together. This is the reason people are fighting, because they narrow down the consciousness, departing from the nature of God. And it brings separation. And if they live together, you cannot combine the two and say something. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. But if you expand it in your awareness, then it becomes you human being plus another human being is two human beings. That is possible mathematics. Try to understand, beloved brothers and sisters. So 1 plus 1 is equal to 2 can lead you to God. The fellow human being, the moment you draw a line around that person, you are narrowing down the consciousness, and it brings separation. And that is false identity. You are departing from the nature of God. This is the secret in the religious situations we are having in the world. Sometimes people say, oh, let us agree to live together, and I'm Christian, you're a Muslim. And when you tally the two, it is untrue mathematics. And the result is that later on, it will reflect that they don't agree. They cannot really agree. But when they expand their consciousness, when they are developing, when they are growing, then the Christian sees he's a human being. And he sees the Muslim, he's a human being. And human plus human, two humans. That is possible mathematics. Simple like that. So we need to grow, expand. There was this simple story you all know about when the Christ was talking about the Good Samaritan. Muslim, Christian, titles, I'm this, I'm that, I'm a Jew, and the other is a Samaritan, and a human being is wounded. He happens to be a Jew. And even fellow Jews come across and they see, well, I have nothing to do with him. I'm this, he's that. And he bypasses. And then a Samaritan comes. He sees himself as a human being. He sees the other as a human being. It doesn't matter. He expands his consciousness. It means that Samaritan, the word good, Samaritan, good, means he has expanded awareness. If he had narrowed down consciousness as a Samaritan and the other as a Jew, wounded, he will bypass. But he sees him as a human being and he himself as human being. And it's a possibility the two can come together genuinely. Yes, beloved brothers and sisters. So a real, genuine follower of the Christ and a real follower of Muhammad, they must be expanded beings. And once they are expanding, because the Christ was an expanded being. Yes. When all the people will say, this person, let us stone him or stone her because she's this and that, the Christ comes in and says, yes, I don't condemn. Because he sees himself as the child of God, expanded being from God. That means he is like God. And he sees the other, the lady they want to stone, as also from God. Same source. So, he was not in the same mentality as the people who wanted to stone that person to death. So, good Samaritan, the word good means someone with expanded consciousness. If we understand this, there wouldn't be any tribal wars. There wouldn't be any racial problems, any complications, religious wars. Yeah. These things mean that false identity is in control of the people. It's the order of the day. We become false, and separated. The false identity brings manyness. And as you expand, then you are closing into that one presence. And therefore, the person who sees himself as a human being and sees another person as a human being is more advanced spiritually than the one who sees himself as a Christian and the other person as a Muslim. He cannot love him because the mathematics is impossible. He cannot have genuine love. That is, let me use the word genuine, because that mathematics doesn't give any genuine trueness. And this goes on and on. Beloved brothers and sisters, it's affecting the human life, and a lot of problems the humans are having is from the narrowing down of consciousness. Today, if you expand, you avoid a whole lot of problems, complications. Even we see male, female, yes, yeah, let us see what. One male plus one female, you can't get any genuine answer. But now let us make it one human being versus or plus one human being. Which of the two is expanded and which one is narrow? The one male, one female is narrowed down consciousness, brings separation. One human being plus one human being is expanded consciousness, and it's a possible mathematics. So that becomes two human beings. Beloved brothers and sisters, so it's easy to tell what is false identity and what is true identity. Now, let us expand more than the human. If you say one human being plus, let's say, one animal, impossible mathematics. So you say two what? Yeah. One Christian, one Muslim, two what? Impossible mathematics. But if we say one entity, the human being is an entity, plus one entity, because the animal is also entity, living entity. One living entity plus one living entity is equal to two living entities. Easy to tell. So you can expand beyond the human consciousness. You expand more and more, and you get closer and closer to the nature of God. You see, so when you expand more, then expansion includes more. So first, One human being plus one human being, you have two human beings. Now, one human being plus one animal, that mathematics. So it means we have to grow even beyond the human being concept. Then we include the animals. Then we become one living entity plus another living entity is equal to two living entities. That is more advanced. More advanced. Then, let us see this. That can also work even with a plant. One human being plus a certain plant. You mentioned the name. And it is an impossible mathematics. So you can say two what? You can say two human beings because the other is a plant. You can say two plants because the other is a human being. Impossible. So expand, and then it becomes one living entity, human, one living entity, plant, and one living entity plus one living entity equals to two living entities present. The answer is simple. So there is simplicity when you expand, and when you contract, there is complexity. There is difficulty. There is challenge. So, any Christian, any Muslim who becomes saintly, becomes a saint, it means he has expanded consciousness. So, a true Christian doesn't know differences. He sees human beings. And when that saint advances more, he sees living entities. So it's not like he sees humans and he sees plants. There are levels. So when that saintly being expands even more, then he's going to see all the plants as living entities. Yes. And finally, if one expands to enter into the state of Godhood, then even the stones, the pebbles, everything. So, if you say one human being and one stone, answer is equal to two what? It doesn't work. So you expand still more. Yes. So both of them are one creature plus one creature, two creatures. They are all part of the drama. So the rock is inside the drama and you are inside the drama. So the two of you are all, let's use the word creation or creature. So both creatures, now you can say two creatures. And that is a more advanced person. You see, when you advance more and more and more, so there are levels. So the Christian who becomes a saintly Christian and still draws a line between himself and a Muslim or a Buddhist or whatever, or the traditionalists and so on, he hasn't finished expansion. His purity hasn't reached the highest point. So he has to grow further. He has to develop more. He has to expand more. And the same with a Muslim. You know, we have Muslim saints, and if they still draw any lines between themselves and Christians, then they still have to develop. They haven't finished the game. the journey. The journey ends only when you expand fully into oneness with the source. That is why the Christ said, I and the Father are one. That is the highest expansion. Back to source. Fully back to source. So, the simple differences that we have between us is serious. We call it simple, but it's very serious. And based on that, sometimes we have pride, my religion, your religion, and this is all narrow consciousness. Narrow consciousness. It's limiting you, and it can bring about even a war, because the other also has the same feeling. It's also narrowed down in consciousness and thinks that small circle he has drawn for himself is all in all. There is a story of one frog. That frog, it was, let me use the word, it was born in a small pond. And it lived its life in that small pond. Then there was this frog that was also hatched or born in the ocean, in the sea. And it grew up, always it jumps into the sea, comes to the land, goes into the sea, comes to the land. And the other one, the pond. And both of them grew up. And then one day, the one from the ocean was hopping around, hopping, just exploring the land. And it went far. Then it saw some small spot of water. It went there and it saw this other frog. Then he said, wow, what a tiny water you are having here. And this small frog said, nonsense you are telling me. This is all the world to me. This is all I know. In fact, there is no other water anywhere. And the one from the ocean was shaking the head. Wow. So this is your mentality? Then he was telling him, no, I will let you get it clear that there is so much water somewhere. This water you are talking about here, it's like nothing. And then this small frog didn't take it light. The one in the pond didn't take it lightly. He wanted to pick an argument, a fight. How do you belittle my pond? Because there is no pond anywhere, no water anywhere that is like this. Yes. So it became a tussle, became argument, almost a fight. Then the frog from the ocean said, okay, you know something, my water, I've come to see yours. Why don't you come to see mine? Then we can see which one is which, you know. So the frog in the pond, in the long run, wanted to go and prove to this other one that his pond water is bigger than any water anywhere in existence. So the two of them, they kept moving, hopping. Then they got to the beach. And the small, the frog in that pond nearly collapsed. So what is that? Unimaginable. Is it water or what? He couldn't believe it. All his life. Never seen anything like this before. Yes. So when we are in this narrowed down consciousness and we are even proud of it, that is all that there is. That is unfortunate. Unfortunate. Expand your consciousness. And what you are calling God is a fully expanded consciousness, aware of all things simultaneously. Future, past are all in the awareness simultaneously, just at the same time. Distance is right here. And that kind of consciousness, fully expanded consciousness, gives you that awareness. Anything less than that, you still have to humbly work it out to reach that state. See, so I've always said that pride limits the expansion because we live in this separation where we have competition and we compare. Mine is better than yours. And that is unfortunate. And that is the reason why the mathematics becomes impossible. So anywhere settings are brought together, see what happens. One male, one female. Initially, it appears it is going to give us 2 something. But what is that thing? Because that mathematics is false, is part of the false identity, within time it is exposed. Within time it is exposed that it is an impossible mathematics. Yes. You say, be together and become one. Even the scripture will say it, that the two should come together and become one. Now, see it clear. It can become one only when each of them expands the consciousness so that it is one human being plus one human being. Then the unity is possible. The mathematics is possible. And it can be possible only when we expand. Because if you don't expand your consciousness, you can't even see your own self as a human being. You are only seeing yourself as male or female. That is narrowing down your consciousness. Beloved brothers and sisters, this has to transform the religious adherents, those following this, following that. The purpose, for example, when you say religion, that means expanding your consciousness so that it becomes one with the fully expanded one you call God. Relinking. There has been a narrowing down from the full presence, and it brings about all these varieties, and it is all within the zone of false identity. A return journey means expanding your consciousness. And if you don't expand your consciousness, then don't try, because the unity will never be. The unity will never be. We can create united this, united that, And if we don't expand our consciousness, it is an impossibility. It's a waste of time, waste of a whole lot of things. And I can prove you right or wrong based on expansion of consciousness or narrowing down of consciousness. Even within one group, one, let us say, for example, Christian, then we continue to narrow down the consciousness. This is, let's say, Protestant, this is whatever. So we divide. And these are the worshippers on these days. And these are the worshippers on these days. It is false identity we are increasing. Oh, can't you see? So worshippers on a particular day and worshippers on another day, when you tally them, one worshipper on this particular day, day number A, and worshipper day number 2, equal to what? Equal to 2 what? It doesn't match, doesn't work. It's an impossible mathematics. It is false identity. But one Christian, it is expanded consciousness. But you have to still continue expanding so that the one Christian now you have become is just one step that you have taken. So sometimes the whole nation, the various Christian groups coming together, so one Christian, that is a step towards God, because God is expanded being. So all these differences is false identity. So we improve by now coming under one umbrella as Christians, but still you have to grow. That is something we don't know. People don't actually know. You have to grow until you expand to cover others anywhere, because they all came from the same source as you. Same source. Not until you expand to include all that is going on, all that exists, then you cannot reach the highest consciousness coinciding with what you call God. You see? So you get more departed from God when you are drawing all these differences among yourselves. The more you draw the differences, the more you are departing from expanded consciousness. So, beloved brothers and sisters, even when you come to a group like the Jan Cosmic Foundation, yes, initially you see yourself separated from another group here or there. But here is where the lessons are helping you to expand. So when you expand truly from Jan Cosmic Foundation, you grow beyond Jan Cosmic Foundation, because I'm teaching you to see yourself as a human being, and then others as human beings. And then you go beyond that. One entity, you are an entity and other living entities. Then you go beyond that. You are one creature and other creatures. And in this way, even if there are universes, they are all from one source. And they are all creatures in the sense that they all came from creation. And for that matter, you are part of it there. In that sense, you are one. And in this way, you are expanding beyond all these narrowed down false identities. Beloved brothers and sisters, truth can be so simple we bypass it. And all these indoctrinations to differentiate this from that, it sounds very well in the objective mind. But remember, the objective mind is the lowest side of the mind. And that one entertains differences. That one entertains false identity. But if you expand the mind from the lower mind and it is getting to higher mind, then you begin to embrace and embrace and embrace and understand and understand and understand. Beloved brothers and sisters, because of this, we have levels, because some have expanded to some point to embrace up to some point. But when they hear something else, that one beyond that, they haven't been able to expand enough to cover. So they still have misgivings. But you have to expand until being a Christian, a true Christian, must expand and become like the Christ. Otherwise, don't call yourself Christian. It is untrue. It's false identity. You can begin like that, but don't remain like that. You can begin like a Jan Cosmic Foundation student, but to remain as that is part of the false identity. You need to expand to include all the creation. Include everything. Because what you call God, that is why sometimes I've been saying that when people say, do you believe in God? I say, what is your definition of God? Some God that is not fully expanded in consciousness, that is your God. That means he has differences. Some are my children, some are not my children. It's not a God. It's not a true God. It's not true. The true God is fully expanded. Everything is within him. So, imagine everything is within him. He's fully expanded. And now things within him, you think some are anti-God, then it means something negative is inside God. It's only a misunderstanding. It's only a misunderstanding. That it narrows the attention, it narrows the consciousness down to that spot, and that small spot becomes what we call the creation. Just a small point. And if he releases that point awareness to that zone, then it is just what is there is the expanded self, which is God. So, before narrowing down the consciousness, is being what is, and once the narrowed down consciousness is going on, it remains the same, and when it ends, it remains the same. That is what the true definition of God. Beloved brothers and sisters, expand your consciousness. And that is the return journey. You see, when you are expanding your consciousness, you are getting closer and closer to your divinity, the original state. And it makes things simpler and simpler, easier and easier. But you can't draw all these differences and expect the peace that belongs to expanded presence. You can't increase false identity and expect the love that belongs to expanded consciousness. You can't actually have the bliss, the joy in false identity as it is in the expanded presence. No, you can't have it. And it is so false, yet somehow the lower mind tells you somehow you will reach it in the false identity. Until you drop dead, you never reach it. Nobody in the past reached it in that way. But it is reachable only by expanding your consciousness. Once you expand, if today you can let go of false identity and expand your consciousness, today you become a saint. Today, not ordinary saints. Ordinary saints still think they identify themselves to just some group. You expand beyond the group because God is fully expanded. It doesn't belong to a group. Oh, beloved, when will you know this? Unless you become expanded in consciousness, then you know it. The truth is so bare, yet we bypass it so much. Yes, this lesson, 1 + 1 = 2, is leading you to God. Because 1 + 1 = 2 is simple mathematics. And let the children come to me, because for them is the kingdom. The children, they learn 1 + 1 = 2. Now, as they are growing up, then we are telling them, you are Christian. The other is, you are Muslim. And then it's like, I am Christian, you are Muslim. 1 Christian, 1 Muslim equal to what? Impossible. Impossible. And that is the indoctrination that keeps us in the drama. The drama is going on because of this. Yes. But when you expand, then you see the drama, you laugh. You see what is going on. It's just a game of false identity. That is, make yourself false and play the game. That is what goes on. But you expand your consciousness and you look at it and you laugh. Everything going on, you laugh. Beyond. Beloved. Yes. So, there's this simple mathematics. It is said the truth will not be given to the learned. the so-called learned. Because if your learning makes you draw differences more and more, then you are departing from truth. If your learning is expanding your consciousness, you are getting closer to truth, absolute truth. The truth that sets you free is expanded consciousness. That is it. Yeah. The difficulties people are having, the challenges, it is all equal to how much false identity you carry. All the challenges. If your false identity is small, your challenges will be small. If your false identity is plenty, it's intense, it's big, then your problems, your challenges will likewise be like that. That is why the children, they have less false identity, they have less problems. It is only, we may look at them and think of problem, but they themselves, they are not counting problems, they are not counting complaints, but we teach them that, hey, differentiate this from that. This is your enemy. This is your this. This is your that. And that is the indoctrination. So that they play the game, hating somebody, loving somebody, doing this, doing that. It's a game that we keep playing. But awaken, you can be in the drama all right, but if you awaken, when your consciousness expands, deep within you, you are laughing, you are enjoying the drama, but externally others see everything as problem, everything as challenge, everything as complaint, everything as this. So, I'm here only to help you expand consciousness. Yes. So, if you want to stay in false identity more and more, increase it, and tell me, solve this for me, then I would say, okay, do this, that expands your consciousness. And once it expands, it will be solved. Now you say, I won't do that, I want this thing solved, and I remain to increase my false identity. Sometimes that is what people do. Beloved brothers and sisters, understanding is greater than all the miracles. Because once you understand and you expand, automatic miracles come to you. Because you are revealing how you are closer to God, how you are divine. And if you reveal it, things get solved. Try to understand. And that is permanent solutions. It's not all these, somebody in that expanded nature should do something for you, and then you use it to complicate yourself more and more and to enter more into false identity. Did he help you or worsen your plight? No. So try to understand. Every little change that you can have, even in understanding, can begin to change the situation that you are passing through. Beloved brothers and sisters. So I'll bring this lesson to a close, but I want you to go deeper into yourself. Because as you go deeper into yourself, you are getting closer to the expanded state within you. As you come out into the worldly, you are closing down to false identity. When you back into it, into yourself. You are going into expanded presence. That is why all these things have been going on, like meditations and so on. It is meant to sort of shift from false identity. So a person who does proper, true meditation, if he comes out of it, he cannot be in litigation, he cannot be in this, in that, and is my enemy, and is the this and that. No. He's a Muslim, and he's oneness, I'm this and that, and no. When you are expanding, everything becomes different. In the past, we have had certain Muslim saints, and when you get close to them, he's not saying, where did you come from, what religion you belong to. No! He's not a saint. And the Christian says it's a saint, and you come and but you are Muslim. No. He doesn't see that. He sees a human being. Otherwise, he's not a saint. Expand, beloved. So that is the lesson I'm giving you, and your problems will reduce. As you expand in consciousness, your problems will reduce. That is the greatest miracle you should look for. Expand your consciousness and your problems will reduce. Can problem be at the same place with God? So you are expanding your consciousness to the state of God. Can problem follow you like that? No, it dissolves. Can darkness follow up to the sun? Sun? No, impossible. So, just understand. Beloved brothers and sisters, thank you for this lesson.